The disappearance of Brianne Wolgram, missing from Revelstoke, British Columbia since September 5, 1998, is still under investigation. Brianne Ruth Wolgram was a soft-spoken, sweet, and attractive young woman. She was just 19 years old at the time of her disappearance. Many people viewed her as shy or timid. Those who were lucky enough to get to know her would say she was outgoing, fun, and absolutely hilarious. She was employed at McDonald's restaurant and the Old Frontiers Super Save gas station, both located on the Trans-Canada Highway in Revelstoke, BC. Brianne resided with her parents, Cheryl and Cliff, and she has two older brothers, Troy and Todd, who were not living at home during the time of Brianne's disappearance. Like many young women, Brianne spent most of her time working and hanging out with her close group of friends. Her schooling, two jobs, and her older brothers led her to make a variety of different friends and acquaintances through Revelstoke. Brianne led an active lifestyle, playing sports throughout high school and working out at the gym. She occasionally consumed alcohol at parties but did not smoke cigarettes or do drugs. She had dreams of going to college, traveling, getting married, and having children. Though she was not romantically linked to any particular boy, Brianne did have crushes. Brianne had purchased a black 1989 Acura Integra with gold rims approximately 4 months prior to her disappearance, and it was in pristine condition, and it was her pride and joy. She made sure to take really good care of it. The summer was filled with Slurpees, rocky beaches, and the loud blaring of Beastie Boys from her new-to-her car. The summer of 1998 came to a tragic end when Brianne disappeared that evening without a trace. Her disappearance occurred out of nowhere, according to friends and family. She wasn't involved with a rough crowd, and she seemed happy. She was an active person. She didn't seem depressed or like the kind of person who would run away from her life in British Columbia. Brianne has a history of seasonal affective disorder, but she wasn't showing any signs or symptoms at the time before her disappearance and wasn't suicidal. The overall lack of physical evidence in her disappearance continues to frustrate investigators. Her friends and family have been deeply missing her for a very long time and will not give up the search. Friday, September the 4th, 1998, which was the day before her disappearance, Brianne had worked the late shift at McDonald's, and after she worked, she went and hung out with her friends. There's not a lot of information about what happened that night, but the following day, September the 5th, when Brianne went to her shift at the gas station, according to her coworker, she seemed a little bit off. The coworkers described her as a lot quieter than usual. It seemed like something may have been bothering her, and at one point during her shift, she broke down and started crying. No one really knew what Brianne was so upset over. She never told anyone. According to Brianne's mom, she had a quick cry about it, and then she got over it. Brianne got off work at around 7 p.m. that day. Her parents were going to a barbecue on September the 5th, 1998, which Brianne said she wasn't going to because she had her own plans for that night. She was going to go home, take a nap, and then go out with her best friend, Christy Kane. Both girls worked at the gas station, so Christy told her to pick her up when her shift ended at 11:15 p.m. at the gas station. She also asked her to pick up some wine coolers before she came and picked her up so that they could have something to drink that night at a party that they were going to for the long weekend. Brianne, though, never showed up, something that was really out of character for her. Brianne was seen wearing blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and black sandals between 11 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. in Revelstoke, where she was outside a 7-Eleven with three unidentified young women. These women have never come forward. After waiting around for a little while, Christy decided to call Brianne's house phone to see if she was home or see if her parents knew where she was at. Her parents told Christy that she was not home, and they were under the impression that Brianne was going to pick Christy up. This made Cheryl and Cliff panic and worried. The following day, a missing person report was filed. 6 witnesses came forward to authorities saying that they had seen Brianne the night of September the 5th. The 4 witnesses who knew Brianne personally said they were certain that they saw her at the local 7-Eleven between 11 and 11:30 p.m. They also said that she was not alone. According to the witnesses, Brianne was seen talking to three different women outside of the 7-Eleven, but no one was able to identify the three women, and to this day, these women have never come forward. Composite sketches were made of all the witnesses. Unfortunately, there were no security cameras at the 7-Eleven, which meant that the police were not able to figure out how these interactions happened or what Brianne's body language was like. A witness followed Brianne's car on the way out of town and noticed there were three passengers inside. Another witness, a man out hunting, claimed to have seen Brianne walking alone along an isolated logging road on September the 6th in the early morning hours. When she was walking, he said hi to her. However, she didn't respond and continued to walk. Her vehicle was located on Echo Lake Road on September the 10th, 1998, by the RCMP Air Services in a mountainous logging road, a remote region near her home, approximately 30 kilometers south of where she was last seen. It had hit a tree, gone off the road, and suffered minor damage. The keys were still in the ignition, and it was in the general direction of the Acolcolex Falls and River. A case of wine coolers that Brianne had bought for her and Christy were in the back seat. Most of the drinks were half finished, and inside the glove compartment was Brianne's driver's license, $200, and her wallet. The rest of her belongings were left at her residence, and her bank account has not been used. Searches took place with helicopters and planes, as well as people looking in forests, the woods, rivers, and bodies of water. An intensive search of the forested area failed to find any trace of the missing girl. There was even a $20,000 reward for any information that would lead to finding Brianne. Authorities tried to see if they could get any DNA from the car. However, they were unable to because the outside of the car had been sitting in a ditch, which had been collecting dust over the 5 days it had been sitting there. They were unable to collect DNA from the inside of the car because of the texture of the seats made it unavailable for them to retrieve any DNA or fingerprints. A partial footprint was found in the dirt right outside the car of a size 11 men's boot. Authorities said because it was a partial footprint, they were not able to get a cast of it. It is important to keep in mind that this particular weekend was Labor Day weekend, and as well as the CP Ball Tournament, Canada Cup International Softball Championships, which was held in Revelstoke, which brought so many new people into Revelstoke, which may be the reason why no one was able to identify these three women. This is just an extra fact to keep in mind. Brianne's family has never lost hope. Her mother, Cheryl, lights a candle on the front porch every year of Brianne's birthday in hopes that it will help guide Brianne back home. Cheryl also keeps the photo from Brianne's senior prom as her background photo on her iPhone because it is her favorite picture of her daughter. There is a memorial statue, Angel of Hope statue, in a local park. Unfortunately, the statue has a metal cage around it and it has been vandalized 3 separate times. One of Brianne's friends, Anna Sways, started a GoFundMe page to help collect money for a reward for any information about where Brianne is or what happened to her. She says, "I won't let people forget," she says. "We need to keep an attention on this." Brianne Ruth Wolgram is a white female who was born on March the 25th, 1979, and was 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing approximately 130 pounds. She has light brown, curly, shoulder-length hair, often worn tied back. She has blue eyes and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. If you have any information about Brianne Wolgram's disappearance, please contact the RCMP or Missing Children Society of Canada on 1-800-661-6160, or if you would like to remain anonymous, you can contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477.